Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears have been hit with a lawsuit that will cost them more than a hefty check. More than likely, it will cost them their careers if found guilty. According to the lawsuit, Tiffany used two children that she had close ties with to do some suggestive acts on film, telling their mother that it would boost their careers as young actors, and this would pretty much be a Nickelodeon reel. Unbeknownst to the children and their mother, according to docs, these children were left in the hands of predators that caused them emotional distress, mental anguish, and embarrassment amongst their peers. They are wanting an amount to be chosen by the court and awarded for future therapy, psychological and medical treatment, counseling, and more. We're going to get into that, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notification so you don't miss out on any of this tea. Now let's get back into it. Say it ain't so. When the news hit the blogs, I was like, wait a minute, what? Tiffany and Aries did what? Then the video started floating around. I said, I don't want to look at the video. Let me read the story first and see what's going on, because if the video is what I think it is, I'm definitely not watching. So let me catch you up on what happened. So there was a civil lawsuit filed last Tuesday in Los Angeles Superior Court by a 22-year-old woman on behalf of herself and her younger brother. She's accusing the renowned actor-comedian Tiffany Haddish and fellow comedian Aries Spears of abusing the plaintiff sexually when they were both minors. Lawsuits are listed under Jane and John Doe. Jane, who is now 22, was 14 when these acts took place. John, who is now 14, was 7 when these acts took place. Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears are accused of grooming and coercing these kids into filming sexually explicit child pee skits, and the mother of these children, according to court docs, had absolutely no clue what was going on. Tiffany met these children through their mom, who would hang out with Tiffany from time to time, and the kids considered Tiffany a longtime family friend. According to the lawsuit, Tiffany and Aries stole the youth from these children, and they are still tormented till this day from what happened to them. So what happened to these children? Inquiring minds want to know. Tiffany Haddish forces plaintiff Ms. Doe to give In the early summer of 2013, plaintiff Jane Doe was enrolled in a comedy camp at the Laugh Factory. The camp was for kids to meet, socialize, practice telling jokes, and step outside their respective comfort zone. Haddish was a guest speaker at the camp and told plaintiff Jane Doe she had a perfect role for her. Haddish only told plaintiff Jane Doe's mother a redacted and completely minimum explanation of the skit plaintiff Jane Doe would take part in. Neither plaintiff Jane Doe nor her mother knew what the skit would be about. Only Spears and Haddish knew the storyline for the skit. Haddish picked up plaintiff Jane Doe on the date of the shoot in her car, put the top down, and grabbed lunch to calm plaintiff Jane Doe's nerves. Once at the studio, it was dark enough that plaintiff Jane Doe could not make out anyone's faces. A video began playing in the recording studio of an older man and a college-age woman arguing over a Subway sandwich. The video continued with the older man and college-age woman eating the sandwich simultaneously from either end, similar to the Lady and the Tramp, however grotesquely shoving as much sandwich as they could into their mouths and getting towards each other's respective mouths. The two were moaning and making sexual noises as they both ate the sandwich in a manner that simulated the act of Spears then told plaintiff Jane Doe that he wanted her to mimic what she had seen on screen, including the noises precisely like what she heard throughout the video. Plaintiff Jane Doe, nervous and disgusted, didn't say anything until Haddish came into the room next to her and sat down. Why was she in the room watching this with Mr. Spears by herself? Haddish verbally explained what was expected of plaintiff Jane Doe and then showed plaintiff Jane Doe how to give including movement, noises, moaning, and groaning. Upon information and belief, Haddish coached a minor into giving simulated while Spears watched, physically, emotionally, and mentally uncomfortable. Plaintiff Jane Doe mimicked the act that Haddish and Spears wanted her to do so she could go home. Haddish and Spears left the minor, plaintiff Jane Doe, with no other option but to submit. After the scene, Haddish paid plaintiff Jane Doe $100 and sent her home. In the summer of 2013, Haddish solicited plaintiff Jane Doe, who was 14 years old, to engage in the production of a sexually suggestive video. Until this point, Haddish was a role model to this 14-year-old victim. Upon information and belief, Haddish groomed the child victim, gained her trust, and created a false sense of security. Haddish stated that this was her way of helping the child victim get on television and that the video could be added to the child's film reel. Who would want that on their film reel as a child? Upon information and belief, Haddish performed a similar scene in her movie Girls Trip, where plaintiff Jane Doe unlocked a repressed memory and realized the severity of what happened to her. Upon information and belief, Haddish groomed the 14-year-old victim and feigned having her best interests in mind. Haddish sexually and traumatized a 14-year-old victim for her gain, both monetarily and commercially. Haddish forced a 14-year-old victim to perform simulated to record commercial sex acts and the production of child pee. Haddish knew the child was under 18 and sexually exploited plaintiff Jane Doe for profit and likes on social media. I don't know if it's any coming back from this one. This is pretty bad. Let's read what happened to Mr. John Doe. Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears, John Doe. In the summer of 2014, Haddish offered to book, arrange, and film Mr. Doe content for a Nickelodeon sizzle reel at the home of Spears. Haddish claimed the reel would be used to book Mr. Doe on Nickelodeon. When they arrived at Spears' house, Haddish told plaintiff Jane Doe that she needed Mr. Doe for a Nickelodeon skit and they had to separate for this. Upon information and belief, Haddish and Spears removed the 7-year-old victim from his sister, placed him upstairs in a bedroom, and the child down to his underwear. The video was entitled Through a Pea's Eyes and shows Spears lusting over a 7-year-old child and him throughout the video. Haddish was present during the filming of the entire video and aided, abetted, and watched Spears sexually a child. The video begins with Haddish holding Mr. Doe in his underwear, grasping the child's backside like a maternal figure, as pictured below, but Chronicle Speaks will not be picturing that on her page. Haddish leaves the child with Spears to watch the child because she has someplace to be. Once Haddish is out of sight, Spears the P leers at the child lustfully. He winks at the child as a foreshadowing of what is to come. The scene changes to Mr. Doe playing on the floor with some toys, still stripped to his underwear, with Spears sitting on the couch right next to the child. Spears is reading a newspaper, and when he drops some of the pages to the ground, he is left with one sheet with 2 cutout eye holes to stare at the 7-year-old child's body. Spears opens his eyes as big as possible to make his eyes stare lustfully at the 7-year-old child as pictured below, but again, Chronicle Speaks will not be picturing any of this on her page. The cameraman now zooms up for a close-up of the 7-year-old from the backside in his underwear, showing Spears' visual focus on sexualizing the minor. The child's backside remains in camera's focus for a few seconds and then zooms in, Spears constantly staring at the child, waiting for his time to strike. As the scene progresses, the child lies on his back, spreads his legs wide open in the air. The cameraman zooms in and out of the child's and Spears looks directly at the child's for an extended period. Spears licks out his lips and sticks out his tongue through one of the eye holes of the newspaper he is looking through while staring at the child's as pictured below. Chronicle Speaks will not be picturing that. The 7-year-old is then shown holding a toy train and was coached to rub the train in an up and down motion, simulating The scene is slowed down to make sure that the 7-year-old's motion is known to the audience and shows precisely what Haddish and Spears are portraying. When the scene changes, Spears is holding a bottle of baby oil. Spears then shakes the bottle in a manner, squirting the oil on Doe's back. Spears then massages the oil onto Doe's back and massages Doe's shoulders. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to give y'all the cliff notes for everything else because honestly, reading this word for word is very sickening. So anyway, the next scene, Doe is in the tub, unclothed. Haddish is staring at Doe until Spears gets into the room. She had to leave again, so now it's Spears in the room, the cameraman, and now this unclothed Doe. Now Spears is sitting on the edge of the tub, staring at Doe while Doe was playing with his toys. Spears looks through the peepholes again, and I meant to tell y'all this. Every time he stares through those peepholes, the song is coming on My mind is telling me no. Yeah, that part. So the camera zooms in on Doe bathing himself, and Spears picks up a toy and pours water on Doe. Spears picks up Doe's leg and starts pouring water on his feet. He then rolls into the tub. Now, at this point, I'm sure this child is afraid out of his mind, and his sister is in another room, probably upset that she can't protect her brother because she was told to sit this one out. Now, the last scene is in the kitchen, and Aries is sitting at the table, shirtless, and the young Doe begins to imitate what was happening to him in earlier scenes. He has holes cut out of comic book pages and starts lusting after Spears, pouring oil on him, rubbing it on his neck, his back, his arms. All of this is just sick. They end the video with, "Watch who you leave your kids with." Well, isn't that the munchkin calling the midget short? That lady entrusted Tiffany with her kids, and look what happened. Now, after that message appeared, there was links to Spears' YouTube channel, website, social media accounts, including Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Vine. Y'all remember Vine back in the day. Now, according to John Doe, the day of the incident, Tiffany and Aries groped his private part, his behind, his chest, his legs, all without his consent. And get this, he says that Aries revealed his erect private part when he undressed and required John Doe to put body oil on him. Now, child, I'm starting to feel like the cameraman need to go to jail too if he was watching all of this happen and he wasn't disturbed and continued recording. Little nasty. Timeline of the video filming. On or about August 4th, 2014, the plaintiff's mother was contacted by Haddish for John Doe to film a skit. Haddish provided little to no details as to what the skit was about. She only said it was a sizzle reel for Nickelodeon. With Haddish being a close friend, the mother saw no issue. Plaintiff's mother dropped off 7-year-old son, Mr. Doe, and her 14-year-old daughter, plaintiff Jane Doe, to chaperone her brother. After filming, Mr. Doe called his mother crying, saying he did not want to film anymore. The mother contacted Haddish so she could pick her children up, but Haddish stated she was already on her way back to drop the children home. Upon information and belief, Haddish and Spears gave both minors cash for filming. On or about August 5th, 2014, plaintiff's mother contacted Haddish about seeing the footage. Haddish said to contact Spears for the footage. Upon contacting Spears for the footage, he stated that he would edit the footage and then get back to her. On or about August 7th, 2014, the mother contacted Spears again about the footage and was told that he had filmed a lot of projects and had not edited the footage yet. On or about August 9th, 2014, the mother contacted Spears about the footage, to which he said that he was very behind in editing and would get back to her. On or about August 11th, 2014, the mother contacted Spears about the footage, to which he said the footage was still not edited. The mother then asked for the unedited footage because she still had no idea what was filmed that made her son cry. Spears said he would get back to the mother about the unedited footage. The mother then contacted Haddish about the footage, who said she did not have a copy of the footage. The mother then asked Haddish what the skit was about, to which she said it was just a Nickelodeon comedy skit. The mother asked what type of Nickelodeon comedy skit would make her son cry, and Haddish stated it was supposed to be a funny skit, but Mr. Doe kept crying during filming. On or about August 13th, 2014, the mother contacted Spears about the footage, to which Mr. Spears said that Mr. Doe was so uncooperative that the footage was unusable and was deleted. Spears later is called out on social media for being a P. On or about June 18, 2018, 4 years after being misled about the existence of the footage, the mother received an alert from Gossip, which is a celebrity news website. Upon information and belief, the website covered a story about Spears arguing with a woman about comments he made. The woman then exposed Spears about filming a video called Mind of a P, the video with Mr. Doe that was allegedly deleted. On or about June 18, 2018, the mother contacted Spears after learning that the skit was not deleted. Spears was unapologetic and even made light of the video. The mother reminded Spears that he told her that the footage of her son had been deleted. Spears said that the video being spoken about was clips that he salvaged of Mr. Doe that he put together. The mother, upset, stated that she would never let her son participate in a P-Child P skit. Spears told the mother that Haddish knew about the completed video and participated in the video herself. The mother contacted Haddish, who denied knowledge of the video. Once the mother told Haddish that she knew Haddish participated in the video where her son's clothes were left off, Haddish said it was just dark comedy. On or about January 25th, 2019 through August 29th, 2019, the mother and Haddish went through many exchanges trying to correct the injustice of this disturbing child P video. Haddish replied with a mix of false hope, for a struggling mother and tossed insults. Now they go on to talk about Tiffany and how she groomed Jane and would call her every Christmas and every birthday and even checked on her while she was filming. They even compared Tiffany to Ghislaine Maxwell, who groomed girls for Jeffrey Epstein. Jane said that she started gaining weight and she didn't want anyone to find her attractive because she didn't want anyone to take advantage of her like Tiffany did. She felt remorse for being just a few feet away from her brother and not being able to protect him. Jane, who is now 22, has never dated because she feels she can't trust. She has a social disorder. Now she doesn't like being around people or making friends. Mr. Doe, he has anxiety and depression. He stays to himself a lot, and Jane had to enroll him into therapy. And this is the letter he wrote while in therapy. I think it's important to get this out of my system because what they did to me has really effed me up bad. I don't got no friends. I don't trust nobody. I'm scared of adults. I refuse to be recorded or take pictures because I'm scared of weird ass adults trying to do nasty stuff to me again. I spend all of my time in my room and do not go anywhere because I don't trust anybody. I do not like the way Tiffany treated me after I did everything her and her friend made me do. She tricked me into some gay shit with her friend and effed my life up. I am not gay, and they tried to make me gay, and her friend made me do gay stuff with him. I had to kick and scream and cry, and Tiffany came and told me to let him touch me. When I kept crying, Tiffany got mad at me, told me to get dressed, and took me home. I remember her yelling at me in the car, telling me that I would never get on TV acting like that. I remember I still felt sleepy from the drink and happy face candy they gave me and fell asleep in the car. When we got home, she told me to tell my mom I had a nice time and gave me and my sister $100. Tiffany always called and talked to me and my sister, but after my mom found out about the video, she stopped calling us. I hate Tiffany and her friend for trying to do gay stuff with me. Now that I am older, I understand that it was not my fault and that I am not gay just because they were on some gay shit. I hate my life. I hate that I don't got no friends. I don't do video chat and I don't go anywhere because I don't want nobody to say I'm the gay boy in that video because I am not gay. Tiffany friend gay and he like little boys. I feel ashamed that I was not big enough to fight back when they took my clothes off and made me take a bath with a grown ass man, do nasty stuff and rub his back. I am scared to make friends or go anywhere with my mom's friends. I don't want to show my face because I don't know who has seen the video. I think it is real effed up that they would do that to me because I was just a little kid. They pretend to be nice to me and touch my body and make me do nasty stuff because they nasty, not me. I know now that they are effed up for what they did to me and none of this is my fault. The mother of John and Jane Doe was going through it as well. She feels she wasn't able to protect her kids and she thought about taking her own life and also became bulimic. Her hair started coming out and she developed hives. She noticed the change in her children and said that they have not been happy since filming. Moving on, the mother and Mr. Spears reached a settlement of $15,000 for what happened to Mr. Doe. This was July 20th of 2018, but because of her mind state and Mr. Doe's age, they needed a guardian ad litem and didn't have one. Now, Tiffany wanted no parts of this settlement. Unfortunately, in the state of California, law permits a settlement for a minor unless the court approves so. So, for instance, if your child was hit by a car in California, you cannot settle with that other person out of court. That settlement would have to be done within court. So, since this settlement was outside of court, it is invalid. Now that happened back in 2018. Nothing has really gone on much legally about it up until now. So what type of damages are we looking at now? It says, wherefore, plaintiff Jane Doe individually and on behalf of John Doe, a minor, prays for judgment against all defendants jointly and severely as follows. For past, present, and future general damages in an amount to be determined at trial. For past, present, and future special damages included but not limited to past, present, and future lost earnings, economic damages, and others in an amount to be determined at trial. Any appropriate statutory damages for cost of suit, for interest as allowed by law. They're also looking for attorney fees, any appropriate punitive or exemplary damages against defendant Haddish and Spears under Civil Code 3294 were authorized by the cause of action for such other and further relief as the court may deem proper. Tiffany more so than Aries Spears, but Tiffany and Spears both had a fiduciary duty to look after these children. And while these children were in their care, they definitely dropped the ball on that. Now, Tiffany went to these children's mother, and in the eyes of the court, she sought temporary custody to film with these children. And while these children were in her care, she and Spears had these children in videos that were crude, insensitive, offensive, vulgar, disturbing, and exploitive of these minor children. Now, Tiffany responded to everything that's going on, and she took to her Instagram and she said, I know people have a bunch of questions. I get it. I'm right there with you. Unfortunately, because there is an ongoing legal case, there's very little that I can say right now, but clearly, while the sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny at all, and I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. I really look forward to being able to share a lot more about this situation as soon as I can. Now, according to Aries Spears, this is an extortion case and a shakedown, and he said that he will not be shaken down. Now, many feel like these videos were 8 and 9 years old. Why the outrage now? Well, 2 weeks ago, Aries Spears made a comment about Lizzo saying that she looked like the boo-boo emoji and that she was built like a plate of mashed potatoes. Baby, the internet ripped him a new one, and a few days later, this lawsuit appeared. Now, I'm not calling this a coincidence, but I'm saying I think that there's some dirt on every celebrity, and the minute you say or do something wrong, they're gonna get you. Might not be immediate, might not be the next day, but you're gonna get got. Many feel that this is what happened and Tiffany was just a casualty of war. Either way, the whole story of watch who you have your kids around, I get it, but Tiffany could have played the niece, had some pigtails in her hair, and it probably would have been funny and even proven the point as they wanted it to. Let's not use actual kids to get the point across. That was just nasty. I cannot speak for this 14-year-old child or this 22-year-old woman to say what they're actually going through, what they deserve. All of that will have to be said in court. What I want to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything going on with this Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears case? Do you think that this is a case that they may actually lose their careers to? Leave a comment, and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new episodes.